प्रणाम आप सभी को। इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एडवांस साइंसेस यूएसए का जो भारत स्थित शोध केंद्र है पूर्वोम स्कूल ऑफ एडवांस साइंसेस, इस लखनऊ में प्रतिवर्ष एक इंटरनेशनल सिंपोजियम आयोजित करता है और उसी कड़ी में हम तीसरे स्टेप पर आज आप लोगों के समक्ष उपस्थित हुए हैं। सो आई वेलकम यू ऑल for joining this international symposium from KSAS on cognitive biology, cognition across life from cell to consciousness। पिछले 2 बार के जो थीम है उसमें हम लोग ये प्रयास करते हैं कि हम लोगों का जो ये सिंपोजियम हो वह दर्शन, फिलॉसफी, संस्कृत एंड साइंस, उसको मिलाकर कुछ ऐसी थीम हम तैयार कर सके कि जो इस इंस्टीट्यूट का और फिर आईनेट्स का जो मिशन और विजन है उसके तहत हम अपने वास्तविक तथ्य को, वास्तविक सत्य को आप तक पहुंचा सकें और अपनी प्रगति को बता सकें। सो आई अगेन warmly welcome you all for joining this symposium.
Namaskar and good evening, everyone. My name is Pooja, and I am one of the moderator here. Our first event today is a dance performance. Dance is an expression of emotions that words often fail to capture. Through rhythm, movement, and music, our students are about to tell a story from their hearts. Let's encourage them with a big round of applause and enjoy the performance.
प्रोग्राम वेलकम सॉन्ग बजेगा ना।
was such a beautiful performance. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you enjoyed it too. These students are from Kurum Vidyalaya, and they have traveled a long way to join this event today. And we don't even see a single sign of any tiredness on their face. They are full of energy. That is so inspiring. Well done, students.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja. Now we will move on, and we have two play today. The one is Voice of Mind, and the second one is Operation Sindoor. भगवत गीता के 6वें अध्याय में है उद्धरे आत्मानम नात्मानो साधयेत आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बंधु आत्मरैव रिपुतात्मन। भगवान श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन से कह रहे हैं कि जो सबसे कठिन चीज है वह है अपने मन को कंट्रोल करना। और वह कितना कठिन है और वह किस प्रकार की उसकी स्थिति है, उसी भगवत गीता में वो कह रहे हैं चंचल ही मन कृष्ण। जैसे वायु को रोकना कठिन होता है किसी कमरे में प्रवेश करने से, उसी प्रकार मन को कंट्रोल करना कठिन है। बिफोर द प्ले बिगिंस, I request you all, including myself, to pause a moment and listen inward. What you are about to witness is not a story from outside, but from within the human mind. Each character you will see represents a voice we all carry every day. This is a reflection of our struggles, our choices, and our becoming. बुद्ध ने जब बौद्ध दर्शन दिया तो बुद्ध भी कहते हैं द होल लाइफ इज ए जर्नी फॉर बिकमिंग एंड द प्रोसेस इज आत्मदीपो भव। सो आई वेलकम you all to the mind of Krishna. थोड़ा सा 2 मिनट का हम लोगों को समय और लगेगा क्योंकि और बच्चे तैयार हो रहे हैं। तो इसी विमर्श में हमारे आपके सभी के जीवन में जो सबसे कठिन चीज है, जो सबसे कठिन आयाम है, वह यह है कि हम अपने मन को कैसे कंट्रोल करें। और जो सबसे आवश्यक चीज है वह भी यही है कि हमारा मन कंट्रोल होना चाहिए। हमारा मन जब हमारे कंट्रोल में होता है तो हमारा व्यवहार सफल होता है, हमारा व्यवहारिक जीवन सफल होता है। और साथ ही साथ भगवत गीता जैसे, उपनिषद जैसे बड़े बड़े ग्रंथ हैं या जो संत हैं, वो उनका अपना अनुभव है, वह यह कहता है कि जब हमारा मन हमारे कंट्रोल में होता है, जब हमारा चित्त हमारे कंट्रोल में होता है, तो हमारा पारमार्थिक कल्याण भी होता है। हम जैसे सामान्य लोग जिनको सिर्फ व्यवहार का अनुभव है, वह कदाचित इतना तो बता ही सकते हैं कि अगर हमारा मन मस्तिष्क हमारे कंट्रोल में है तो निश्चित ही हमारा व्यवहारिक उत्कर्ष, हमारा सामाजिक उत्कर्ष होगा। किसी संस्था के बनने और उस संस्था के आगे बढ़ने, इन सब के उद्देश्य में यही सामाजिक उत्कर्ष ही निहित है। इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एडवांस साइंसेस यूएसए अपने विभिन्न प्रकल्पों के माध्यम से, कल जब हम सुबह से स्टार्ट करेंगे तो हम देखेंगे कि आईनेट्स के अनेकों प्रकल्प हैं जो भारत सहित दुनिया के अलग अलग जगहों पर अलग अलग प्रकार से सामाजिक आयाम, शिक्षा और अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में कार्य कर रहे हैं। तो आईनेट्स का भी प्रकल्प यही है कि हम किसी तरह अपने टीम मेंबर्स और अपने टीम मेंबर्स के सफल प्रयोगों के माध्यम से इस समाज में शिक्षा के माध्यम से ऐसा उत्कर्ष जागृत कर सकें, ऐसा व्यवहार जागृत कर सकें, या ऐसा हम प्रमाण प्रस्तुत कर सकें कि हम शिक्षा के माध्यम से व्यक्ति और व्यक्ति के माध्यम से समाज का निर्माण कर सकते हैं। इन सब में वॉइस ऑफ माइंड क्या है, उसको हम कृष्णा के माध्यम से और उनके कुछ दोस्तों के माध्यम से, उनके डायलॉग के माध्यम से अब हम देखेंगे. सो आई वेलकम फॉर वॉइस ऑफ माइंड.
ये वाला माइक है, आपस में एक्सचेंज करने को चाहिए होगा.
चलो सब आ जाओ
आ जाएगी.
Good evening, everyone. This is Kirtika, a student of Fromthis. As we all know, inside every mind lives a soul. Not of cities or streets, but of thoughts, voices, and choices. And this is the mind of Krishna, a young student, and today his mind is louder than ever.
Want to scream and run away. What should I do now? Who am I supposed to listen to?
And suddenly, what happened? The voices inside Krishna's mind wake up and they begin to speak.
Hello everyone, this is Logic. I am AI. Hello everyone, I am learning. Hello everyone, I am emotion. Hi everyone, I am imagination. Hi Krishna. You have exams and you have to study. Think clearly. Results matter. Results do. Things doesn't matter. So study. You are tired, Krishna, overwhelmed. You have not read 14 weeks. How long do you know your heart?
Do you remember the last time you ignored how it felt? You studied day and night, but it still broke down. Pain doesn't disappear if you ignore it.
But what? If you rewrote the story, what if success was not only the marks? What if you did not have to be like everyone else? You are not broken, Krishna. You are learning. Struggle is not a failure. God growth.
फोन आगे देख के चले, फोन रख दो.
Presenting, analyzing, human conflict detected, illogical
दो फोन
behavior,
पकड़िए.
recommendation, optimize routine, reduce emotion, increase productivity.
Who was that?
Krishna, if you follow your emotion, you will fail and you will disappoint everyone. You think everything can be solved like a math problem. We are not a machine. But the word rewards accuracy, discipline, and result, not emotions, Krishna. And the word also breaks people who don't listen to their heart.
Why can't I feel okay and still do what I need to do?
Can humans be efficient and emotional at once? Models of contradiction. This is because you do not feel, you compute only, but Krishna is a human.
Do you remember when you were crying in the hallway because you thought one test can define you? But still you learned more from that failure than from any perfect grade.
You were scared, but you kept going. Even I must admit, experience is data and pain can teach. Great, because let's imagine a world where mistakes are beautiful, where your story isn't written by pressure but by possibility. Error, dreams rejected, non-linear, irrational, emotional overload. Krishna, your exams are near. Hold your pen and start studying now. Yes, Krishna, focus, Krishna, focus. Yes, Krishna, Krishna.
Stop! All of you stop. I'm tired of being pulled down. Logic, you push me too hard. Emotion, you make me feel weak. Learning, you tire and test me. Imagination, you distract me. Memory, you haunt me. And AI, you scare me. But maybe you are all a part of me, and I want all of you to grow together.
Exactly, Krishna. Balance is the answer. Not logic alone, not emotion alone, but understanding all the voices together. Krishna, I don't want to hurt you. I just want you to be succeed in your life. I just want you to be okay, Krishna.
I will remind you of pain so you don't repeat it again.
I give you a hope only. Updated conclusion. Maybe being human is more than that.
I will study, but I will also rest. I will listen to my heart and will use my mind wisely. Because I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be a human. And more importantly, now I understand the voices, that they are not fighting, they are guiding me.
And so the voices inside Krishna's mind didn't disappear. They learned to listen, not fight. Because a strong mind, it is not silent, it is balanced.
We got a mind and we are still becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, students.
Now I'm done.
What you witnessed, it was not just a play, but a reflection of human mind. Within each of us live many voices: logic, emotion, memory, imagination, often in conflict, at all essentials. क्या हुआ? रुक गया. I was saying that within each of us live many voices: logic, emotion, memory, imagination, and often in conflict at all essentials. Krishna's struggle mirror our own search for balance in a world of pleasure, performance, and technology. This story tells us that how we communicate ourselves and how we can get awareness to our questions by self-interpretation. Our biology and its connected process help us to reach the consensual interpretation within our own limit. To be human is not to be perfect, but to remain aware, compassionate, and evolving. Like Krishna, we are still becoming. भगवत गीता में इन सब, जैसा अभी हमने देखा इस प्ले में, इन सब का तक हमारी पहुंच कैसे बने, तो भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने दो उपाय बताए: अभ्यास और वैराग्य। जितनी भी सद्विचार की चीजें हम जानते, सुनते, समझते हैं और महाजनों के रास्तों पर उनको जाते हुए देखते हैं, उन सब का निरंतर अभ्यास हो और अपने जीवन में जिससे हमें बचना है उसके प्रति, जिनसे हमें आसक्ति हटानी है उनके प्रति हमारे जीवन में वैराग्य हो। इन दोनों के माध्यम से ये जो वॉइस ऑफ माइंड है और जो हमारा आंतरिक संघर्ष है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, उससे हम बच सकते हैं। तो पूर्वोम विद्यालय के बच्चों के लिए आप लोग जोरदार ताली बजाएं वॉइस ऑफ माइंड। थैंक यू।
Music has a special way of touching the soul, and tonight we have the pleasure of experiencing that magic live. Now in this series, please join me in welcoming Dr. Bogdan, who will take us on a beautiful musical journey through his guitar play. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Remove the computer.
Okay. उसको रख दीजिए। यहाँ रख दीजिए।
Okay. Wow, that was a great play. And I'm glad I picked the songs I'm going to play because they go along nicely with the play. So the first song is about learning and about listening to your parents and growing up. The second song is about striving to grow and get higher, right? Like learn and be accomplished and having people help you along the way, right? And then the third song is really about kicking back and spending time enjoying things outside of your career, like going to the beach, walking in the sand, relaxing. So these songs go greatly along with that last play, and I hope I sound good. And let's see. I don't have a guitar strap, so it's kind of making it a little difficult. Okay. Mama told me when I was young, don't sit beside me, my only son, and listen closely to what I say. And if you can do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Oh, take your time, live too fast. Troubles will come and they will pass. Go find a woman, you'll find love. And don't forget there's someone up above. And be a simple kind of man. Oh, be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Forget your lust for a rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. And you can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. Or be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Well, don't you worry, you'll find yourself. Follow your heart and nothing else. You can do this, oh baby, if you try. Although that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. Oh, be something, love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Baby, be a simple man. The next song is called Higher. That means to reach higher in life. When dreaming, I'm guided. Dreaming. When dreaming, guided to the world, time and time again. At sunrise, I fight to stay asleep because I don't want to leave the comfort of this place. Because of hunger, I long to escape from the life I live when I'm awake. So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden streets? Although I would like our world to change, it helps me to appreciate those nights and those dreams. But my friend, I'd sacrifice all the nights if I can make the earth and my dreams the same. The only difference is to let us trace all our hate. So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden streets? So let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? that got a lot for the very first time. Set up high, strong enough to take those dreams and make them mine. Set up high, strong enough to take those dreams and make them mine. Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden streets? Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden trees?
Go ahead, Andrew. Once more, there was no break.
Nibble on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. All those tourists covered with love, strumming my 6-string on the front porch swing. Smell those shrimp dipping into ball, wasting away in Margaritaville, searching for my lost Savior of soul. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's nobody's fault. Don't know the reason I stay here all season. Nothing to show this is bland and tattoo, but it's a beauty, a Mexican beauty. How it got here, I have in a glue. Wasting away again in Margaritaville, searching for my lost Savior of soul. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. Now I think else could be on my own fault. I blew up my flip-flop, stepped on a pop-tart, cut my heel after cruise back on home. This was in the blender, and soon I will render that broken concoction that helps me hang on. Wasting away again in Margaritaville, searching for my lost Savior of soul. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault. Yes, some people claim that there's a woman to blame, Thank you. It's the story of my life. My mama told me to be a simple man. My friends told me to reach higher. And then my friends now say, go out to the beach and hang out and have a good time, right? You have to enjoy your life too. Relax. And I'm really enjoying myself in Lucknow. It's a beautiful city. Balaram Singh, beautiful institute. You guys all work together as a team to put this on. I can see all the work you put into it, the organization, the preciseness of it. This is really great. You guys are really lucky to be here to enjoy this wonderful conference.
Thank you, Dr. Bogdan. It was such a mesmerizing performance, and we all enjoyed it. You are an example of great scientist and a musician, and we all just witnessed that. You inspire us to explore all the aspects of life, in addition to doing science, which is beautiful. I wish we had more time to listen to your music, but since we are restricted with time, now we will move on to our next event.
I'm glad you follow along the play.
It was
follow the play perfectly.
Yeah, I must say you set this stage on fire. It was such a beautiful. It was like a live concert. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being a gracious audience. Thank you. I borrowed a guitar, it's not my own guitar, so I'm glad somebody found a guitar for me and, got me going today. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we are going to have a play which is inspired by Operation Sindoor, which is a story of courage, unity, and empowerment. The name Sindoor is deeply symbolic. It represents the pain and resilience of a woman who lost their loved ones in a tragic terror attack. It also stands for the strength that rises even in the face of adversity. Let's invite them all on the stage to have this beautiful performance.
कौन सा म्यूजिक बजाना भाई बता देना। हाँ वो अपना चलो वेलकम वाला बजाना पड़ेगा। कौन सा वेलकम बजाना है?
इसमें 1 पड़ा हुआ था ना।
1 सेकंड। ये है ना, तो वही तो बजाना था। लिखा हुआ है परेशान है।
सब लोग एक साथ लाइन में खड़े हो जाओ, जल्दी करो। क्या नाम है तुम्हारा और किस मजहब से हो? तो हिंदू हो या मुसलमान?
पता करो ये हिंदू है मुस्लिम। अगर ये मुस्लिम हो तो इनसे कलमा पढ़ाओ, ये पढ़ सके तो इन्हें छोड़ दो, नहीं तो इन्हें भी गोली मार दो।
अरे हमें छोड़ दो, हम तो यहाँ केवल घूमने के लिए आए थे, हमने तुम्हारा क्या बिगाड़ा, हमें छोड़ दो प्लीज।
फर्क नहीं पड़ता कौन आदमी है या फिर कौन औरत, तुम सभी हिंदुस्तानी हो, हम लोग के लिए काफिर हो और तुम लोग का अंजाम भी काफिरों वाला ही होगा। पूरे हिंदुस्तान में अब एक ही नारा गूंजेगा, अल्लाहू अकबर।
मेरे पति को मार के मैं क्या करूंगी जी, कर मुझे भी मार दो।
कलमा पढ़ो।
ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह।
इन्हें छोड़ दो, तुम इन लोगों को क्यों मार रहे हो? इन्होंने तुम्हारा क्या बिगाड़ा है? तो घूमने आए।
नाम बताओ, क्या मजहब है तुम्हारा?
मैं हिंदू हूँ, मेरा नाम सुल्तान है।
साथियों, इंडिया टीवी से मैं फ्रोमथिस। जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं, इस वक्त मौजूद हैं हम जम्मू कश्मीर के फेमस टूरिस्ट स्पॉट पहलगाम में। अपनी छुट्टी को यादगार बनाने आए हुए टूरिस्ट आज भारत के सबसे बड़े आतंकी हमले के सदमे से गुजर रहे हैं और अपने आप से बस एक ही सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, हम तो बेकसूर थे, हमने क्या किया था, हमारे साथियों को क्यों मारा? आइए उस वक्त मौजूद कुछ टूरिस्टों से हम कुछ सवाल जवाब करते हैं और जानने की कोशिश करते हैं आखिरकार हुआ क्या था, आतंकवादियों ने उनसे कहा क्या था। तो आप हमें बताइए, आखिरकार आतंकवादियों ने आपसे कहा क्या?
उन्होंने हमसे पूछा हिंदू कौन है और मुसलमान कौन है। जब हमारे एक साथी ने हाथ खड़ा किया तो उसको यहाँ शूट कर दिया।
आइए हम कुछ और जानकारी इकट्ठा करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो आप हमें बताइए, आखिरकार उन आतंकवादियों ने एंट्री कहाँ से ली और उनकी पोशाक, उनका पहनावा क्या था?
वो अचानक से आया और वो काली कलर की पोशाक में थे, उनका चेहरा बहुत ज्यादा डरा हुआ। उन्होंने हमारे सभी साथियों को मार दिया।
आप हमें बताइए, आखिरकार इन आतंकवादियों के साथ ऐसा क्या हो कि आपको लगेगा हाँ हमें इंसाफ मिला और इन सबको सजा?
इन सबको मार देना चाहिए, सबके सामने मार देना चाहिए, इन लोगों को मार डालना चाहिए।
तो हम देख सकते हैं किस प्रकार लोगों के अंदर अभी भी उन आतंकवादियों के लिए आक्रोश भरा हुआ है और शायद ही ये अपने जीवन में अपनों को खोने का ये भयावह मंजर कभी भुला पाएंगे। इस हमले में हमने 26 जाने गंवाए और इस हमले के पीछे TRF, द रेजिस्टेंस फ्रंट का हाथ है। ये कोई और नहीं बल्कि जैसे मोहम्मद और लश्कर-ए-तैयबा जैसे आतंकी संगठनों का एक नया रूप है। ये वही आतंकी संगठन है जिन्होंने भारत में मुंबई अटैक और पार्लियामेंट अटैक जैसे बड़े आतंकी और इस टाइम है स्पीच बड़ी है बल्कि अन्य विदेशी देशों में भी की है कि इन आतंकी संगठनों को फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट, स्ट्रेटेजिक गाइडेंस पाकिस्तान के ISI द्वारा दिया है। एंड देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन टू द रिपोर्ट दैट शोज द कनेक्शन बिटवीन पाकिस्तान एंड टेररिस्ट। तो उस वक्त मौजूद कुछ टूरिस्टों से बात करने के बाद हमें पता चला कि जो टेररिस्ट थे उनके पास M4 राइफल्स, AK-47 थी और उनकी बॉडीज पर कैमरास थे जिससे वो सब कुछ रिकॉर्ड कर रहे थे। और कुछ जानकारी इकट्ठा करने के बाद हमें पता चला कि इस आतंकी हमले का पीछे का कारण था डोमिसाइल लॉ और कश्मीर की बदलती हुई हालत। कुछ सालों से कश्मीर की हालत दिन ब दिन अच्छी होती जा रही थी। स्टोन पेल्टिंग के और टेररिस्ट अटैक के केसेस कम होते जा रहे थे। कश्मीर में पैसा इंजेक्ट हो रहा था, कश्मीर प्रतिदिन प्रगति की ओर बढ़ रहा था और इन आतंकी संगठनों का यही मेन टारगेट था कि कश्मीर की प्रगति को कैसे रोका जाए। इसकी वजह से इन्होंने कुछ नॉन कश्मीरी लोगों पर हमला किया, परंतु
कश्मीर की प्रगति पर इसका कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ा। इसकी वजह से इन्होंने नया कदम उठाया। तो अब हर भारतवासी की यही सरकार से मांग है कि हमें इंसाफ चाहिए और जल्द ही ये हमें मिल गया रहेगा। जय हिंद।
भारत माता की जय।
नमस्कार देवियों और सज्जनों, मैं कर्नल सोफिया कुरैशी और हमारे साथ वीर कमांडर भूमिका सिंह आज आपको 6 से 7 मई 2025 की रात 1:05 से 1:30 बजे के बीच में भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों द्वारा अंजाम दिए गए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में जानकारी देंगे। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर भारत में 22 अप्रैल को पहलगाम में हुए विभत्स आतंकवादी हमले का शिकार मासूम नागरिक व उनके परिवारों को न्याय देने के लिए लॉन्च किया गया। इस कार्रवाई में 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स को टारगेट किया गया और पूरी तरह से बर्बाद कर दिया गया। पाकिस्तान में पिछले 3 दशकों से टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का निर्माण हो रहा है, जिसमें इक्विपमेंट, इंडक्टिनेशन, ट्रेनिंग एरियाज एंड लॉन्च पैड शामिल थे। इन सूचनाओं का चयन विश्वसनीय इंटेलिजेंस के रूप में हुआ कि किसी भी सिविलियन इंस्टॉलेशन को नुकसान न पहुंचे। मैं आप सबको बताना चाहती हूँ कि अभी तक किसी भी नागरिक क्षति की रिपोर्ट जारी नहीं है। प्लीज नोट। Greetings to you all. Operation Sindoor was launched by Indian Armed Forces to deliver justice to the victims of Pahalgam terror attack and their families. 9 terrorist camps were targeted and successfully destroyed. Over the last 3 decades, Pakistan had systematically built terror infrastructure. It is a complex web of recruitment and indoctrination, centers for initial and refresher courses, and launch pads for handlers. These camps are located both in Pakistan as well as Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir areas. This is a reminder that Operation Sindoor stands for courage of India's strength, and it lies in the centers. So destruction of these systems were based on critical intelligence, and some of these camps are located in Savai Nala in the north, counting it to approximately 21, ending it in Bhavalpur to the south.
मैं अंत में कुछ लाइनें कहना चाहती हूँ। मैं मुस्लिम हूँ मगर पाकिस्तानी नहीं। मैं मुस्लिम हूँ मगर आतंकवादी नहीं। आतंकवादियों का कोई धर्म नहीं होता। हर आतंकवादी को मैं अपने हाथ से मारने का जिगरा रखती हूँ, वो भी बिना धर्म पूछे। जय हिंद।
भारत माता की जय। 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 भारत माता की जय।
नमस्कार साथियों, एक बार फिर संस्कृत सिंह आपके समक्ष हूँ। जैसा कि हम देख सकते हैं, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की सफलता के बाद देशवासियों के अंदर खुशी और उन्माद की लहर है। हर जगह देश के कोने कोने में रैलियां निकाली जा रही हैं और इस वक्त हम लोग मौजूद हैं जम्मू कश्मीर की एक रैली में। तो आप हमें बताइए कि आखिरकार आपकी इस रैली का उद्देश्य क्या है?
जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान हमारी भारतीय सेना ने अपने अदम्य साहस का प्रदर्शन किया है और उसने अपना बलिदान भी दिया है। उन्हीं के सम्मान में हमारी यह रैली है। हमें गर्व है अपनी भारतीय सेना पर। भारत माता की जय।
तो पहले भी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस ने कई ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किए, तो इस ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की सफलता के बाद आपका मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस को लेकर क्या अभिप्राय है?
कि जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं कि उरी सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और बारकोड एयर स्ट्राइक सक्सेसफुल रहे हैं और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बाद तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस पे हमारा विश्वास और भी गहरा और अटूट हो गया है। इंडियन आर्मी
जिंदाबाद। तो हम देख सकते हैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की सफलता के बाद हर देशवासियों में एक खुशी की लहर है और इसी का प्रदर्शन किया हमारी लाल चौक की इस रैली ने। हमें गर्व है अपने इंडियन आर्मी पर। जय हिंद, जय भारत। भारत माता की जय।
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, नमस्कार। आज पूरा देश आतंकवाद के खिलाफ एकजुट है, आक्रोश से भरा हुआ है, संकल्पबद्ध है। आज हर भारतीय का यही संकल्प है, आतंकवाद को खत्म करना ही है। साथियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान हमारी सेनाओं ने जो पराक्रम दिखाया, उसने हर हिंदुस्तानी का सिर ऊंचा कर दिया। जिस प्रिसीजन के साथ, जिस सटीकता के साथ हमारी सेनाओं ने सीमा पार के आतंक के ठिकानों को ध्वस्त किया है, वो अद्भुत है। साथियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर सिर्फ एक सैन्य मिशन नहीं है, यह हमारे संकल्प, साहस और बदलते भारत की तस्वीर है। इस तस्वीर ने पूरे देश को देशभक्ति के भाव से भर दिया है, तिरंगे में रंग दिया है। आपने देखा होगा, देश के कई शहरों में, गांवों में, छोटे छोटे कस्बों में तिरंगा यात्रा निकाली गई। हजारों लोग हाथ में तिरंगा लेकर देश की सेना, उसके प्रति वंदन अभिनंदन करने निकल पड़े। कितने ही शहरों में सिविल डिफेंस वॉलंटियर बनने के लिए बड़ी संख्या में युवा एकजुट हुए और हमने देखा चंडीगढ़ के वीडियोस तो काफ़ी वायरल हो रहे थे। सोशल मीडिया पर कविताएं लिखी जा रही थी, छोटे छोटे बच्चे पेंटिंग्स बना रहे थे जिनमें बड़े संदेश छुपे थे। मैं अभी हाल ही में बीकानेर गया था, वहाँ मुझे एक बच्चे ने ऐसी ही एक पेंटिंग भेंट की थी जिनमें बड़े संदेश छुपे थे। साथियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने देश के लोगों को इतना प्रभावित किया कि कई परिवारों ने इसे अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बना लिया। जैसे बिहार के कटिहार में, यूपी के कुशीनगर में और भी कई शहरों में उस दौरान जन्म लेने वालों बच्चों का नाम सिंदूर रखा गया। साथियों, हमारे जवानों ने आतंक के अड्डों को तबाह किया। यह उनका अदम्य साहस था और उसमें शामिल थी भारत में बनी हथियारों, उपकरणों और टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत। उसमें आत्मनिर्भर भारत का संकल्प भी था। हमारे इंजीनियर्स, हमारे टेक्नीशियन, हर किसी का पसीना इस विजय में शामिल है। इस अभियान के बाद पूरे देश में वोकल फॉर लोकल को लेकर एक ऊर्जा दिख रही है। कई बातें मन को छू जाती हैं, जैसे एक माँ बाप ने कहा कि अब हम अपने बच्चों के लिए खिलौने भारत में बने ही लेंगे। कई परिवारों ने यह भी शपथ ली कि अब हम अपने बच्चों की शादी कई परिवारों ने यह भी शपथ ली कि अब हम अपनी अगली छुट्टियां देश के किसी खूबसूरत जगहों पर बिताएंगे। साथियों, यही तो है भारत की असली ताकत, जनमन का जुड़ाव, जन भागीदारी। मैं आप सबसे भी आग्रह करता हूं, आइए इस अवसर पर एक संकल्प लें कि हम अपने जीवन में जहां भी संभव हो देश में बनी चीज़ों को प्राथमिकता देंगे। हमारा एक कदम भारत की प्रगति में बहुत बड़ा योगदान बन सकता है। धन्यवाद।
So this was our side of efforts for this drama. I hope you liked it. In reality, Operation Sindoor was an underground mission. Here, we tribute our act to those who lost their life in this accident and to our brave army officers.
अंततः हम किसी प्रकार की त्रुटियों या अश्रुतियों के लिए आपसे क्षमा चाहते हैं। And I want to dedicate 2 lines to our lady officers. I support that woman is made for cooking. I support that woman is made for cooking. That's why she cooked the whole nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
That act was very inspiring and emotional, and I must say very encouraging at the same time. As you just saw in this act, the Operation Sindoor was led by 2 women, Colonel Sofia Qureshi, who is a Muslim woman. Another one was Vyomika Singh, who is a Hindu woman. It shows the unity in our nation. Religion doesn't divide us. That was a message from this act.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja. अभी आप लोगों ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के ऊपर चित्रित कुरुम विद्यालय के बच्चों द्वारा एक प्रस्तुति देखी। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर भारतवर्ष के इतिहास में अपना एक अलग स्थान रखता है। जब मौन समर्पण बन जाए तब साहस बोलता है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर केवल एक अभियान नहीं बल्कि एक संकल्प है। संकल्प जो साहस से लिखा गया, बलिदान से निभाया गया और सम्मान की अपनी मुहर के साथ अमर हो गया। जब कर्तव्य की सीमाओं पर अंधकार छाया, तब साधारण चेहरे असाधारण संकल्प के साथ उठ खड़े हुए, न यश के लिए, न प्रतिशोध के लिए, बल्कि राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा और आत्मसम्मान के लिए। हर कदम में देश का विश्वास था, हर धड़कन में करोड़ों सपनों की गूंज थी। यह कथा उस दृढ़ता की जो कठिन समय में झुकी नहीं, और यही है भारत द्वारा किया गया ऑपरेशन सिंदूर। आप रोम विद्यालय के बच्चों के लिए जोरदार तालियां आप लोग बजाएं। Now we will move on next session, which is Symposium speech, and I want to announce that Dr. Suhas Kshirsagar ji, who was the speaker of this session, is not available due to some personal reason, but he has assured that tomorrow he will be with us because he is in US, so due to some personal problems he is not with us today. So now we will move ahead, and Dr. Shiv Sachit ji will be with us for this session as a speaker. So we are very grateful that he at once accepted our invitation, as he was supposed to deliver his talk tomorrow, but it is his generosity that he at once accepted for today. So we thank on behalf of KSAS and INETS. The topic of this session is framing the vision of cognitive biology, and we have with us Dr. Alex Hankey for chairing this session. Let me introduce first Professor Alex Hankey. Learned the Vedic science directly from Maharshi Mahesh Yogi Upanishad style. He originated the perspective of science and philosophy of consciousness using critical phenomena in stability concept from his PhD, the explanatory power of which is unique in several fields. He has published more than 130 articles in peer-reviewed scientific journals and several books chapters. He is on Stanford 2% list of top academics and the editorial board of 6 scientific journals, mostly in traditional, complementary and integrative medicine. So he will be with us online. So we welcome you, Dr. Hankey.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I want to say greetings to Professor Raj Kumar and all my friends at the Karuan School of Advanced Sciences, where I've been able and privileged to talk for the last 2 or 3 years. I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and to say that cognition is of vital importance for all living creatures. Cognition is of vital importance, you will be probably surprised to know, even for single cells. And you can find examples, as I shall tell you very briefly, of single cells trying to escape, bacteria trying to escape from chasing killer cells. You can see it on slides and microscope slides, and the killer cells trying to chase the bacteria, and the two of them competing. So cognition That is to say, some kind of perception and some kind of cognition exists in all living creatures, all the way down to single cells. And how this is possible is something that my colleague, Dr. Anup Kale, and I worked out, a mechanics of cognition which applies remarkably even at single cell level. So that's an opening remark I want to make in introducing this. And I'm really delighted that our first speaker, Dr. Kashmir Shaivism, is a Vaidya, because he will know only too well that in Vedic sciences, as opposed to the modern sciences, there are two levels of reality which are recognized: the sukshma, or subtle, and the stula, or gross. And the Vedic sciences assert that the sukshma controls the stula. So when Ayurveda, for example, acts to try and rebalance your three dosha, vata, pitta, and kapha dosha, you are actually acting on a sukshma level. And when one dosha or subdosha, dosha prakar, drives another out of balance, as happens in particular pathologies, then this is all action at a subtle level. It's not anything that modern medicine can correct. But if you take a condition like Alzheimer's, which is known as pranavrata samanavata vyadi in Ayurveda, then one subtle level is acting against another subtle level. Prana, the first of the subdoshas of vata, is driving samana, which, if I remember rightly, is the third subdosha of vata, out of balance. So subtle levels of cognition are actually, at this level, more widespread than gross levels of cognition. And I don't think I should make any more remarks on that at this point, but I do want to say that understanding the difference between the sukshma and the stula, the subtle and the gross, and then acting on a subtle level, because the subtle controls the gross, makes your system of science, your system of medicine, far more powerful than anything that modern science or modern medicine can achieve. And this is why when chronic diseases are talked about by Western doctors, they're considered incurable. You just have to palliate them. Whereas in Ayurveda, if you can restore the doshas to balance suitably and in the suitable order, then you can cure diseases which are beyond the, or bring them into remission, absolutely beyond the power of modern science. So with those brief remarks, I would very much like to invite Dr. Kashmir Shaivism to begin. Let me introduce him. Dr. Suhas Kashmir Shaivism is a classically trained Ayurvedic physician. He has a BAMS and an MD in Ayurveda, a higher degree in Ayurveda. And he is also a medical astrologer. And Jyotish is something I've had two PhD students in doing biochemistry and molecular biology of Jyotish. He's a researcher with over 30 years of clinical experience. He's very, very experienced, a best-selling author, educator, and global speaker. He has played a key role in advancing Ayurveda and integrative medicine worldwide through curriculum design, institutional leadership, and clinical practice. He's the director of Ayurvedic healing in a wonderful town called Santa Cruz in, I don't know if you call it Central or Northern California, and advisor to leading wellness organizations and the author of influential books, including The Hot Belly Diet, Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, and Panchakarma. So without more ado, let me call on Dr. Suhas Kshirsagha to speak to us, and I'm sure we will all enjoy this speech,
Dr. Henke,
talk,
are you able
presentation very
Hello?
much.
Yeah, I agree. Dr.
Over
Henke?
to you.
Hello? Dr. Henke, as I announced that Dr. Subha Kshirsagha is not available today. He will be with us by tomorrow. So we have another speaker, and Dr. Kumar, Dr. Raj Kumar has sent you the details that Dr. Shiv Sachit will deliver his talk today. So I am introducing Dr. Shiv Sachit. Dr. Shiv Sachit is UK-based multimedia journalist, media technology consultant, and the visiting professor with over 25 years of experience. He is the director of Global Media Network Limited, GMN, where he leads media research, training, and citizen journalism initiatives. His work focused on the coverage of traditional journalism and emerging digital technology with a strong emphasis on digital transformation and countering misinformation. He is the author of Redefining Journalism, Professionals, Citizens, and Innovation in the Digital Era.
I can't be on Zoom. I'm going to close this presentation. Okay.
I'm sorry I received a telephone call. I didn't hear the previous remarks.
लॅब पार्सल मुंबई 8
Wait. Hey. Nasıl?
बम्बई से लैब पार्सल 8 क्लॉक
Where?
हाँ 8 क्लॉक तक
Here?
हाँ ये
Today?
हाँ आज
8 o'clock?
हाँ टुडे यस
Okay, I take it.
मधु मैम कौशिक सर
Shilpa ma'am?
मधु मैम PhD स्टुडंट
Okay, fine.
आणि
Yes. Good.
कौशिक
Good. Thank you.
Dr. Hangi, we are on in 1-2 minutes. So here is some technical issue. So
what can I do to help?
nothing, just wait. It's our pleasure that you are waiting here. So
Don't worry, I'm okay.
yeah, thank you.
In India,
Thank you.
one has to be patient. Vinod, I am in office. I have to stay in office.
हमको भी आपको ट्रेन में बंद करा है।
आप यहाँ बैठ जाइए।
नहीं, मैं बैठूं, खड़ा रहता
तो ज्यादा अच्छा दिखेगा बैठ के।
दिखाने के चक्कर बड़ा लंबा लग हाँ, वहाँ पे रखूं। तब तक आप लोगों का एंटरटेनमेंट कर रहे हैं। पहले तो मन किया कि मैं भी डांस करूं, फिर पता लगा कि तो लहंगा तो पहना नहीं। तो फिर सोचा कि जॉन बागडन की तरह विल सिंग ए सॉन्ग, लेकिन मेरी आवाज इतनी अच्छी है। मैं आपको आई विल टेल यू समथिंग अबाउट cognition. That professor Suchit is going to talk about how to look at the cognition in various things.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you, especially this is for the students, because you are still in your teenager years.
I can give it to you.
Yes, I have. When you were not talking,
I don't have presentation, but I have one right.
your cognition was of different types. When the babies don't talk, they recognize the facial expression. Who else doesn't talk? Animals don't talk. Plants don't talk. They see your facial expression. So it's not, I mean, Professor Suchit is going to talk more about it. I just read his abstract a little bit. So it is not that you are not having cognition. Actually, the babies, before they talk, they have better cognition. They can see the face of people and understand what is on in their mind, on the minds of people. Just like animals do. It is very animalistic.
No.
When you are a baby, you are more like an animal. But your cognition is very high. It's just like, dogs recognize you. The dogs recognize what is in the suitcase. You may not know what is in your suitcase, but they know. So people use, actually in Thailand, they started using dogs to find out COVID, if somebody has COVID. How does that happen? When you have COVID, there is a reaction in your body. And so you release certain chemicals, and dogs can smell it. So then they can recognize. The mothers recognize their babies, what kind of mood they are, just by touching their body. When before we were all born, mothers have a huge influence on us. And that cognition, even before our brain has developed, the cognition is that if mothers, why mothers call mom? In every language, mothers are known as mom. In Sanskrit, it means don't. Ma kuru, mat karo. But what happens they have done a lot of this research on monitoring the baby movement. When mother says anything, any word, the baby stops. But when mother touches her body, the baby starts walking, moving around. That's a cognition. You have cognition before your brain was developed. What happens after you are born? This is very relevant for people in high school. Your number of cells are fixed before you are born. Number of brain cells are fixed before you are born. But then they grow in size when you are born, up to 5 to 7 years. After that, they become mature. When you hit 12 years, when you hit 12 years, each of your brain cell makes 1,000 connections. neuroplasticity. That's your personality. You want to be in the best situation at that point. You want to, that's why it's called brahmacharya. Brahmacharya doesn't mean celibacy. People say that this is celibacy. But it is really, brahmacharya means, brahma means brihad. You expand yourself. Whatever your personality is, wherever you are staying, wherever you are living, whatever you are eating, pay attention. Pay attention to your mom and dad. Pay attention to your neighbors. Pay attention to your dogs. Pay attention to your cows. Because that is what is going to build your personality. So that neuroplasticity.
थोड़ा सा इधर आ जाए तो
देखिए इंस्ट्रक्शन माता जी हमारे
सर जूम पे थोड़ी आवाज कम जा रही है आपकी तो यहाँ से बोल
Then they will be learning more.
Yeah.
Their brain, those who cannot hear me, their brain is going to become more active because they have to try to hear. So, what I was saying is that, and it's very interesting, at age 20, that neuroplasticity stops. So when you are a teenager, you have so many ideas, and sometimes your parents don't understand. It's because you are growing. Your brain is making all kind of connections, sometimes not clear to you. But by the time you are 20, that completely stops. And all the connections are fixed. After that, there is some more research, different kind of research. Your brain areas have something called heterogeneity. It means in your, let's say, cerebral cortex or parietal zone, the same cells, they express different genes. Some of them, not all of them. That is called heterogeneity. In the same area of your brain, some cells express different genes. We don't know why, but we know they do. And they do until, you know when? From 20 to 40. When you are 20 to 40, the 20 years is very interesting. First 20 years is called brain development. After that is called brain aging. And aging can be defined by this heterogeneity. We have no idea what it means. Scientists are working on it. And then at 40, the different kind of genes, different areas of brain start expressing heterogeneity. And the third phase comes when you are 60. Do you remember what is called brahmacharya, grihastha, vanprastha, and sannyas? So, in ancient times, people monitored people's behavior at different ages. And then they call them different things. So, brahmacharya, I already told, means you expand yourself. What is grihastha? It means you are at home. It means you become what you are. Test it out. What happened? Okay. Test it out and see whether whatever you learned makes any sense. So people get married, they have their home life, they use all their ideas to the extreme. You know, they have to take care of, you have to do a job, if you have to do a job, then you have to do all kind of extensive utility of all the things that you can learn. Your sanskars have to be very good, so that when you are in that 20 to 40 age, you test everything. Just like, you know, science, we test. We learn some experiments in your lab, and then when you do research, really, you go test that. Can you make this? Can you make that protein? Can you make that gene? You know, and say, oh, I can do that. Then you are skilled. But after that, what happened? Vanprastha. Vanprastha means you go to jungle. It's literally not to go to jungle. That means you start something new. Because you have already learned something and you have tested it. And it works for you. So now you don't just sit there, don't be relaxed and say, okay, no, everything is working for me, I'm fine. No, you have to do something new. That's your purpose of your life. It's called purusarth. Purusarth word brings the word pursuit. You have to pursue something new. And in that process, you will test your learning by doing something new. If you learn mathematics by taking an example of mango or horses, but then that doesn't mean that that's where mangoes and horses are only multiplied. When you grow, you want to do that for the computers. You want to do for the books. You want to do for populations and all kinds of stuff. We say mathematics, but you start applying for new things, and that's called Vanprastha. And what happens after that? When you have learned something, you have tested it, and then you have tried for new things, then you are perfect. You know everything. So then when you become 60 or above, you don't need to remember. You already have the experience. With your own experience, you can talk to people. That's what some teachers, there are some teachers who are not 60 yet, and they would be, Muhammadiji would not be very happy about that. You are 60 already? I thought he was saying, no, I'm 60 already. Well, we need to be, this is this process we have to go. So now some of you know Shankaracharya, you have heard about the name Shankaracharya? He was at 13. So Shankaracharya was 13-year-old when he really was realized man, just like somebody 60. He has so much experience. So there are some Swami Vivekananda, there are Yoga, Paramahansa Yogananda. There are some people who are exceptions. Some of you also may be exceptions. But don't put yourself back. Don't put yourself behind. Try to do front. Question your teachers. If they are not 60, for sure ask them questions. Because they probably don't know everything. But if you ask me, I'm 60. So I can answer most of your questions. Because I've gone to the schools. I used to fight. When I was in middle school, I used to beat up people and fight a lot. I learned all those things. So if you tell me some examples of what is happening in your school, I probably have done it. And I've done it, not only I have done it, my children have done it. Not only my children, my students have done it. So I've seen it 3 times what goes on. Once my daughter, my second daughter, who is my favorite, she was 7-8-year-old, and she was putting on Indian dress like salwar or something, And I said, oh, how cute! I wish I had one of those. It's like I could have a langa here, and then I could have done. Then you know what she says to me? She very innocently says, Dad, when you grow up, you will fit in this. Because she always knew that when you have to grow up to fit into something. So she only could think that I will have to grow up and fit into her clothes. This is tremendous learning, cognition, talking about cognition. It was the greatest moment of my life of learning from her, because there are a lot of people who know very little, but they think that includes you all too. You will tell your parents, your mother something. Well, someday you will get it, what I'm telling you today. Because you have to grow up to, well, maybe they do. Maybe they will see you doing that and they will get used to it. But I'm talking about, the countries which are younger. And they try to tell a country like India, oh no, you will get here. You will learn someday to do what you do. But you have done it so many times. India has been very ancient country. So they don't need to necessarily learn some new things to fit into this. You can learn new things to add to some things. So that is very important aspect of neuroplasticity and the growth and the role of mother. What is the role of father? I guess now mothers are done. I will have to do the role of father. What is the father? What do the fathers do? That is my latest, because I cannot be mother, so I have to better justify it. Because it says mothers are 1,000 times as important as fathers. So I thought at least I should do what fathers are important, so that the mother has to now think about 1,000 times what I can do. It's not just like you are, oh, you're mother, so you are 1,000 times better. No, you should be 1,000 times better. If I'm a teacher, I should be knowing things what I'm teaching. Not just, well, I'm teacher, so whatever I say, that's correct. That's not how it is. So, what the fathers do. I heard from a Swamiji from South India, when I was in America and he was visiting my children very young. He said that children choose fathers first in the previous life. Before you are born, you choose your father first. How do we choose? I'm trying to understand the physics of this choice. Because how do they recognize? What kind of cognitive behavior they have? Rajkumar, whenever you're done, tell me, otherwise I'll start with my slides. So I will start talking about my topic. So I have been thinking about it. Well, number one, they choose fathers first, and then together they choose mother. They select the mother. Mother has to be more important because of that, So that you have to have some currency. Just like you go to Mela, you want to buy some toy, you have to have some money. In this case, money is your karma. What have you done in the past? Your karma tells you which father is going to accept you. But that karma is something, is vibrations. In Jain philosophy and also in Hindu philosophy, in Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, the karma is action, right? Action is something that vibrates whenever there is something vibrates. So when you vibrate, whatever your karma is, and the frequency is together. Some of you are in 11th, 12th grader here. So you may have studied physics. Mahapatiji can tell. And there is something called frequency. When they match, they resonate. So the fathers are the ones which you resonate with. Your frequency has to match. But mothers are more important. If they just match frequency, then they are not any more important. They are just same as fathers. So this is my theory. The frequency also has amplitude. The amplitude frequency is the same that you can resonate, but amplitudes can add. So mothers are 1,000 times. All the children have to put together, and including father's amplitude has to be 1,000 times that of mother to become your mother. So mothers are very, very, very important. They're very expensive actually. And that's why they do so much for the children without asking for any money, because they're being paid for with the amplitude of your frequency. So we all have to take this kind of understanding in the family, in the society. I only talked about your neuroplasticity, human, but how do the plants communicate with you? What do they do? They don't have mind, they don't have brain. They do have a lot of biochemistry. One of the things that they communicate with, they release something called volatile organic chemicals. Have you heard about that? Volatile organic chemicals. There are certain organic compounds which just evaporate. And that has a role. When something evaporates freely, that means that's free. Liquid cannot move more than certain areas. Solid cannot move at all. It's just sitting there. But the gas, the volatile things, can freely walk around. So plants release to communicate with you. When they are if you start cutting them, they release volatile liquid, organic liquids, organic compounds, chemicals. And that can be sensed by maybe sometimes us also. Maybe you have seen when you're cutting something, you can smell some things, right? But birds, animals, insects, they can recognize. I'm going to talk a little bit about it tomorrow. I work with a fungus called Phytophthora cinnamomi. Phytophthora cinnamomi. It's a fungus that is in cinnamon trees. But where I am in Boston area, you have heard about cranberries? Cranberries? No. There to hota hai, main aapko jaan raha hu. Cranberries, Massachusetts, where I live, is the #1 state. Cranberries. Ocean spray is just only 25 miles.
Number 2 is Wisconsin.
There you go.
Right? You
Yes,
were there
yes. No, that I was there too. But I got exposed to cranberries when I was in Massachusetts. So the interesting thing is that when this Phytophthora cinnamomi is one of the diseases that causes cranberries to rot. So the interesting thing, I did some research with that, published 2 papers. What I learned when fungus infects the plants, I mean this is not cranberry, it doesn't call Phytophthora cranberry, it's called Phytophthora cinnamomi cinnamon. When they infect any they infect other plants also. When they infect the plants release a protein called elicitin.
So I will.
It's like elicits. When the elicitin is released, it causes the resistance in the plants against this fungus. And they release chemicals, including volatile organic chemicals. And the whole, if they are in a jungle, in a forest, the whole forest comes to know of this. When the Phytophthora cinnamomi fungus infects 1 or 2 plants, they release these compounds, and the whole forest becomes resistant to them because they all produce elicitin. And so they cooperate. What I'm trying to say, just like when people got COVID infection, then they had to ready? Yeah. Okay. So that's a very good place. We are all very resistant now, and then we can hear Professor Sudhi. Thank you.
Dear souls, here we are. Sorry for delays. This is due to the Murphy's laws. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. I've got a very difficult subject, very complex one. There are many schools of thought to define what I've been given to explore: intelligence. Intelligence is such a subject that it encompasses everything. It is not a standalone subject. So welcome to everyone. Today we are going to challenge one of the most fundamental assumptions we hold about intelligence, and that requires a brain. This presentation will take you on a journey through nature, revealing cognitive abilities in the most unexpected places. By the end, I hope to shift your perspective on what intelligence really is, and what it means, and where we can find it, and why do we have to know intelligence. This isn't just academic. It has profound implications for how we treat our environment, develop technology, and understand our place in the living world, or maybe not so living world, but a rather challenging one. The scope of my keynote speech covers the following. The title slide says, sets the stage, explains the presentation's purpose. I hope this keynote speech will draw a conceptual framework within which the following speakers may touch on or explore further. Brain-centric bias. Brain-centric bias has been with us for centuries. And this is our challenges on the assumption about intelligence. Then we follow on from that a radical proposition, which is it introduces a functional definition of intelligence. Then we go on to explaining intelligent cell, what are cells, and why do cells work independent of the brain or without the brain altogether. Details slime mold experiments and bacterial cognition. Then we have plant intelligence, which covers Gagliano's learning experiment and plant communication. Then we have World Wide Web, which elaborates on mycorrhizal networks and synapse research. Immune system that explains embodied cognition in our own bodies. Then we go on to another 12. I'm not going to define them, as you can read them yourself. Called collective intelligence, like the ants, the swarm of bees, they collectively have intelligence, but singly as an individual ant, they do not have intelligence. Our invitation for you, why does intelligence matter? What is the paradigm shift? Why do we have to know about intelligence in nature? We are not talking about human intelligence, we are talking about intelligence or competency or skills in nature. Then we touch on philosophical implication, hierarchical network, scientific evidence, practical application, basal cognition, the heart as a cognitive center, and the paradox we have in learning and understanding intelligence. Then we have a closing reflection. So what is, no intelligence is separate from any other. We are not observers of nature's intelligence, we are expression of it. If you go back to the Vedas, the scriptures, in the Advaita Vedanta, means non-dualism. We don't exist as a target or as an object, we are one. If the apple cart, if we take an example of an apple cart, the one apple shifts, it affects the apple on the cart somewhere else. One atom moves, the whole universe moves. Maya, I'm sure some of you must have heard the word Maya. The illusion of separation between self and the nature, the Brahman. Tatvamasi, you must have heard of that too. I am God. Soham, same thing. If you are God, that can be proven scientifically. The properties of a lake, water from the lake or from the sea, if you take that water, it has the same properties to quench your thirst. Nothing has changed. What is the quantity? A drop in the ocean, and the ocean in a drop. We have this Veda mantra which says, Yatha Brahmande Tata Pinde. Yatha Pinde Tata Brahmande. I'm sure some scholars here may correct me because I may be wrong. Hindi is not my native language, so I may have some slip-ups. You've got to bear with me. Entanglement. We have this to do with quantum mechanics. And then we have observer effect. Observer effect in simple terms means the way you look at a problem, and the problem you look at changes. So the problem depends on your observation. That's why it says the observer effect. You have an effect of what's happening in the conscience in the wave and particle theory. Non-locality. This is a very serious, a very controversial matter, especially where spiritualists and the scientists cross swords. They cross swords because the scientists don't believe in conscience, they're coming to, but the spiritualists have done the world around many circles while the scientists are still tying up the shoes, the laces. But one day, hopefully, they will intersect to make it much more understandable and much more comprehensive. Now we have, sorry about that, we're coming out of the old paradigm. Paradigm means the model, the way you think, the pattern you think, the framework, how you think. Intelligence equals the brain, which is a fallacy. Humans are uniquely intelligent, and as a fallacy, Nature is mechanistic, that is a fallacy. All these 5 lists you see there, they're all fallacies, they're all myth. The new paradigm says intelligence is adaptive problem solving. Intelligence is ubiquitous in name. Ubiquitous means sarvatra, everywhere, omnipresent. Nature is cognitive. Nature is sentient. Nature can feel. Nature can respond. And nature can remember. Cognition is distributed. And mind is embedded in all life. We are not trying to do anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism means treating object as yourself. This is a respect to nature, whoever they are. Brain-centric bias. For centuries we have lived up with fallacy, as I've described, the neural complexity, centralized processing, human-like cognition. From there, we look at termite, the intelligence is everywhere. So it's in a termite, it's in a microcosm, it's in kingfisher, birds, it's in nature, it's in animals, it's in tree, it's in mountain, it's in volcano, it's in the most diminutive organism from the deep sea to the deep space. Meet the most invincible magical organism, which is from the deep sea. This is called tardigrades. Tardigrades have been taken to space to be carried on an experiment to see if it survives the heat of 145 degrees centigrade. Some of them died, but when they came back to Earth, they can survive a very extreme temperature of 0 degree. So this is another intelligence which has proven to exist from the deep sea to the deep space. Now we have another cell, a microorganism, is planarian, flatworms. When it's decapitated, when you chop off its head, they regenerate their head. They regenerate their limbs. This is without brain. Remarkably, they retain memories from before decapitulation. Before they lost the head, they still remember those data. Those are data they carried to regenerate themselves, to rebuild themselves, to grow their nails, to get a new head. Isn't that interesting? Can men do that? Never. Now we have intelligence pervades nature from the smallest cell to the vast ecosystem. A radical proposition. Intelligence is an overarching competency to sense and respond to the environment, solve problems adaptively, learn from experience, make decisions, and enhance survival. Now, the invitation is here. We as men, we think we're intelligent, but we have treated the rest of the world, the rest of our organism, who cannot have a voice, who don't have a voice, who cannot speak for themselves, who can't defend themselves, and we as human, pretending to be intelligent, we kill them, we maim them. If you come to Delhi, you will see so many dogs are limping, they've lost a leg because of lack of understanding. Dogs are your protector. They can hear things that you can't see. They can hear, sense frequencies above 20 hertz. And man is only equipped between 20 and 40. But dogs can see, they can sense tremors, they can sense hurricanes, they can sense storms and earthquakes. They also have an inbuilt GPS. When they sit down, before they sit down, they turn round and round to ensure they are safe. And all this is about safety, security, for survival. Everything every individual organism is doing is for security, safety, and survival, nothing else. To recognize intelligence beyond brains is to step into a living, thinking world. Every forest is a conversation. Every cell is making decisions. Every ecosystem is solving problems. Unfortunately, not we pretend to be wise, but in fact we are ignorant. The question is, are we wise enough to listen? Another question that this begs, the first question begs is, are we wise enough to listen? You can go on that repeatedly, on and on and on. Even if we do listen, we're not listening. Because you don't have a brain to listen, you don't have a mind to listen to. Who can listen? Your mind is not your mind. Your parents, your inborn knowledge that came with you when you were born has been built on by other people's opinions, ideologies, views, frights, prejudices. All these are being injected into you without you realizing. You're carrying your luggage for other people to please them, not to please yourself. So even if you do understand the problem of intelligence, you don't think you do, but you do, but you don't. It is not that you do. It is a thinking, it is a brain that's leading you astray. You may think you're doing it, but not. I'll tell you the reasons later on a different slide. Now, next one is, we have lost a picture somewhere? No, it's okay. One second, please, bear with me. So we're done with this, we're done with that. Now, here, the concept, picture's not coming for some reason, but no mind. This concept of interspecies coherence suggests that electromagnetic fields generated by different organisms can interact and potentially synchronize. Given that the heart's electromagnetic field extends beyond the body, plants possess this own bioelectric field. The possibility of emerges that resonance of plant between human emotional states and plant philosophies. What happens here is, when you are happy, your human effective energy field is extending from you to about 3 feet distance. So if you're positive, if you're conscientious, you can affect the mindset, the feeling, and the polarity of the person you're talking to, but only if you are talking to them within the proximity of 3 feet. When Prince Charles is to go and talk to the plants, the press, the media in Britain have labeled him lunatic, means mad. But Prince Charles knew what he was doing, and much time has passed, and many years after which this has been proven by scientists that talking to plants is not a futile exercise. It is something that can be proven, that plants listen, they echo, they respond, and when you twist them out, when you uproot them, they screech. And that screeching noise has been recorded. Unfortunately, I don't have the sound of that here, because we've had some snags here with the problem with presentation, but I have the sound which was carried out in an experiment carried out by scientists. Tomatoes, roses, and other plants have been tested for their sensitivity to touch, to scream, to chopping and cutting and hurting them. All types of sounds have been recorded, so the plants are sentient. They have a feeling. Plants, microbes are making decisions. Right where we stand outside our garden, thousands of communications are going on. Thousands of arguments, thousands of communications, intermingling, interexchange, not only frequency-wise, but nutrients. Water has been distributed, has been shared by trees. The green flush trees are sharing their water and nutrients with the drying trees. And that's how cooperative the nature is. Plants aren't just sitting there passively, they're running electrical signals through the body, similar to nerve impulse to coordinate rapid responses like Venus flytrap. When they snap shut, they know they have caught a mosquito or a fly for the meal because they sense it, the sense of the touch of the flies or the mosquitoes or whatever it is. So they shut because they are responding because they're intelligent. When a leaf gets damaged, electrical pulses and calcium waves trigger hormonages that help the plant heal. This is self-heal like we do sometimes. If you believe in Ayurveda, you'll know there's no option from outside. You don't take any external injection, medicine, allopathic injection. With due respect to anyone here who is a medical doctor, I'm not criticizing your practice. I'm just saying this is the difference between Ayurveda and the orthodox medicine. So even more remarkably, plants can send electrical signals to neighboring plants through the soil, from the roots to neighboring plants. So that proves that they are intelligent. The intelligent cell, even single-celled organism, I moved here, but this hasn't moved there. Intelligent cell. The picture is not there for some reason. Sorry about that. Even single-celled organisms demonstrate remarkable cognition. Slime molds, Physarum polycephalum is called in Latin, navigate mazes. A small single-celled organism can navigate mazes, optimize networks, anticipate patterns, remember previous experience, all without a brain. Something happened there? This is the one we need? That's the one, yeah. So bacteria engage in quorum sensing, collective decision making, and strategic problem solving communities. Intelligence across all worldly realms. Quantum intelligence, which is represented by atomic orbital structure at the top, signifying subatomic information processing. Then you have cellular biological intelligence, the network of interconnected nodes representing how individual cells or neurons communicate. Organizational, organismal neural intelligence, the human brain representing centralized cognitive system. So intelligence is not as specific to a point of the brain, but it is distributed across the whole biological unit. Then you have collective swarm intelligence. Swarm intelligence are those that arises where there are bees, ants, wasps, that sort of thing. And the remaining are planetary geological intelligence, the Earth, representing the self-regulating systems of a living planet. The Earth has different types of fields: electromagnetic fields, radio spectrum, microwave, long wave, short wave, medium wave. It has gravitational fields, all that we can't see. We can't hear sounds that dogs can hear. We can't see frequencies because there are certain spectrum which our ears are tuned in to listen to. Beyond is discarded and we are not able to perceive.
And when something breaks, it can cost you big time. That's where home serve comes in. Regular homeowners insurance might not.
Alex, I see you talking, or is that your friend AI? Okay, can I continue then? Yeah. Alex, cosmic intelligence. The galaxy is full of resources, but we don't see it. We can't feel. Only a gadget can do it. A radar, a microwave antenna, a cellular phone antenna. Those are the equipment with which you can prove that those spectrum, those fields, those waves do exist. Then we move on to electroreception. Nature perceives dimensions of reality invisible to humans, which I've just been talking about. Electroreception is to do with the capability of feeling, of experiencing electromagnetic waves, which the sharks do, rays, platypuses do. They detect electrical fields. Sharks sense heartbeats of fish buried under the sand. Yes, sharks can feel the vibration of fish heart, which is buried under the sand. Then we have magnetoreception, which affect birds, turtles, bacteria. They detect Earth's magnetic field. Arctic terns migrate 40,000 miles using magnetic navigation. The birds migrate up to 40,000 miles just using their body to navigate themselves around the world wherever they are moving to, from cold weather to warm weather, where they have a good holiday like humans. Then we have infrared detection. Vipers, snakes, they detect 0.003% centigrade temperature differences in complete darkness. Then we have ultraviolet vision, which bees experience, birds experience. They're guided by UV patterns on the flowers. The flowers, they can see UV patterns on the flowers by which they're guided to go and suck their nectar. Then we have sensory intelligence, which is beyond human perception. Nature perceives dimensions of reality invisible to humans. Then we have molecular chemoreception. Moth, they detect single pheromone molecules from miles away. Molecule level information processing. Pheromone is a scent that many animals produce for a reason. They want other types of their own kind to follow them, like ants. Why do ants scuttle on a straight line? Have you ever thought, why do ants scuttle along a straight line? That's because every ant, when they meet on the way, on the path, they leave a trace of pheromone. Okay, pheromone. So other following ants can go to the same direction, pick up food, and they are very communicative. They tell each other where the food is. So here they create pheromone. Then you have seismic infrasound communication. Elephants are very good at sensing seismic sound. Before an earthquake happens 10 kilometers away, the elephant would know something is wrong. And they communicate across miles using infrasound. They detect thunderstorms through ground vibration. Each sensory modality shapes cognition, ways of knowing beyond human imagination. You okay there? This was the picture we were supposed to be talking about, but we had elephants are gold standard for non-neural intelligence. They don't have neural intelligence to do all this sensing, because their bodies perform complex data processing before the signal even reaches the brain. Even before the signal reaches the brain, they know what to do. They react to the seismic vibration. And it's all wired up, as you can see on the legs, the different points. The trunk acts as a peripheral. The whole body is like a machine, like a radar. It acts as a peripheral processor. An elephant's trunk has over 40,000 muscles. Controlling this requires local coordination, not the brain. Then we have octopus. Octopus embody cognition. Central brain. Octopus don't have a brain as such. We're labeled as 1/3 of the octopus's neuron concentrated in the head. Distributed neural network, blue glowing lines, as you see in the picture, showing two-thirds of neurons throughout the 8 arms. Independent arm exploration. one arm actively tasting and grasping food, demonstrating autonomous sensory capabilities, autonomous movement after severance. After the limb is cut, is chopped, there's autonomous movement. A separate panel showing a severed arm, still moving and attempting to grasp food, illustrating that it's a remarkable phenomenon of embodied cognition, where the limb itself possesses functional intelligence. And we have how intelligent are dog and elephants, which we just talked about. So we can skip this. For next slide. Plants possess sophisticated cognitive abilities. We've also spoken about that very briefly. There's nothing more to it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Monica Gagliano's experiments, which was done using mimosa plants. Mimosa plants, you know about what mimosa is? Should we? Yes. Gagliano demonstrated genuine learning. What she did was she repeatedly dropped these touch-sensitive plants. At first they closed their leaves, like Shuimui does. A defensive response was there, so the leaves shrunk, closed. After many repetitions, with no harm done to the plant, they stopped responding. Because they learned it is the way of repetition, they will stop it, because this is an artificial touch. They had learned the stimulus was harmless. Even more remarkably, they remembered this lesson for up to 28 days, and then they go back to normal. Plants also communicate extensively. Where a tree is attacked by insects, it releases volatile organic compounds into the air, the chemical warnings that neighboring trees detect and respond to by producing defensive compounds. Underground trees are connected through vast mycorrhizal networks, fungal threads that link roots from system to system. We previously touched on the Wood Wide Web, the networks underground. Trees are nutrients, water information. Mother trees have shown to recognize their own offspring. This is animals, this is nature, this is trees. They recognize the mamta. Plants navigate the environment strategically, avoiding obstacles, seeking in nutrients-rich soil and patches for their offspring. A tree is doing this. Even recognizing whether nearby roots belong to kin or competitors. A tree trying to remember whether it is mere dost hai, mere parivar hai, ya mere rishtedar hai. This is purposeful, adaptive behavior, the hallmark of cognition. Many trees, like oak trees, banyan trees, what they do, if they notice or they sense there is a sapling taking roots in their surrounding, if a sapling is taking root in the surrounding of banyan trees or other trees, oak trees, they release a chemical to attack those saplings so they don't grow. And they don't do it out of spitefulness or jealousy. They do it because they know that they're going to grow big. A banyan tree are so huge and mega big, like an oak tree. So they know before, I shouldn't let anyone around me, so I need the space to grow. And then we have environment, self-perception, gene expression. Those are a very controversial program, very successful one, widely circulated by the BBC, as was the debate between nature and nurture. Scientists obviously went for nature, but the spiritualists went for nurture. There was an exponent, an advocate, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think most people know about him. He's an advocate of epigenetics. The concept of epigenetic is genes do not express themselves. They express themselves in response to the environmental stimuli. The epigenetic revolution, genes don't control themselves. Environmental signals and cellular perception control gene activity. Cells read environmental signals. They can read nutrients, toxins, stress, and belief. So if the mother is pregnant, the cells, after 3 months, the cells will know in the fetus that something disturbing is coming through the sense, they sense it, which is the time to engineer a successful child, which it doesn't happen today, in the world today, which is why in the old days, in the ancient days in the Veda and Upanishads and the scriptures, there was this solar sanskar. With the lack of solar sanskar, we have society which is totally morally bankrupt. In the south, in Gujarat, this pratha, this tradition is still alive. We have a friend who unfortunately passed away. He was providing this service, but he's gone due to the COVID, in the COVID period. So these are the gene cells in part of your body that understand and learn and teach. So when you're born, when the child is born, the child comes in this planet with inborn information. Inborn information, why? Because the child needs something to go on, to build on. It's like a computer. The computer doesn't have an operating system. You cannot install your application. So the inborn information of the child is very important. More important because the mother has to maintain the mood, the temperament, not to argue, not to get into a fight. So the child will be as successful as the mother would be during pregnancy. Cells decide which genes to express based on environmental input. Some genes plus different environments, completely different outcomes. So the combination, if you mix the gene with different atmosphere, different environment, you can create a design baby, which is where the designer baby comes from. That's the concept of designer baby. It is not new knowledge. It's a repackaged knowledge. It's there. It's been rediscovered due to technology. And it's important that children wake up to these realities and not just rely on other people's ideologies. The forest ecosystem, I just mentioned, the mother tree nurture, I've done this, chemical messaging coordinates, resource sharing, yes, so we covered this. Now, Earth is home to around 1 billion trees that belong to over 60,000 species, and they live on every continent but Antarctica. While they may seem extremely vulnerable to environmental changes, seeing as they can't get up and live when the climate no longer suits them, trees have actually been around for close to 400 million years. They have survived 4 extinctions events. They have survived all 4 extinction events, but they have been around for 400 years, and the ability to break down rocks, create soil, siphon carbon dioxide from the air, and replace it with oxygen. This is what our planet habitable for humans. They can live for thousands of years, growing slowly, taller, wider. One great basin, bristlecone pine, is over 5,000-year-old tree. It still exists and is still going strong. So let's move on from tree to the next organism. They are groups and distribute individual intelligence. But if together, a lot more, the masses of ants, that becomes collective intelligence. No ant understands the colony's strategy, yet it happens when the number grows. Birds flock, but with one single bird there's no intelligence. As the birds' number grow in the flock, they start, the feelings, the vibrations start becoming coherent, and that becomes intelligence. Then you have democratic voting processes that select optimal tests, where to live, where to have a wild dance, where to fly to from one country to another. This all is to do with collective intelligence of birds, ants, and bees. Your immune system thinks without a brain. Pattern recognition distinguishes self from non-self. Learning and memory remembers pathogens for decades for vaccination. Adaptation generates novel antibodies for new threats. Decision-making determines appropriate responses, inflammation, tolerance, that sort of thing. This is embodied cognition, intelligence distributed throughout biological process. Now we have the heart, which is the most powerful, most important organ. Mine is here full. What's happening there? Okay, let me read it. Conventional cardiology views the heart primarily as a mechanical pump. The heart-brain dialogue operates through four primary pathways: neurological communication, biochemical communication, biophysical communication, and electromagnetic communication. There are four different ways for the heart to communicate to the brain. And the vagus nerve contains approximately 80% afferent fibers. Afferent means the communication that goes up to the brain, and afferent means the communication that comes down from the brain to the heart. And heart is not just a pump. It is a radar. It's a signal generator to tell the mind, the brain, something is about to happen. So your heart has 40,000 neurons and sends more signals to the brain than the other way around. So these are all non-neural or neural intelligence. The reframing challenges fundamental assumptions, consciousness question. If bacteria make decision, plants remember. Where does consciousness begin? That's a question for scientists to ask. Can we still claim absolute dominion because the life forms are cognitive agents? Indigenous wisdom traditions have always recognized the intelligence of all beings. Then we have nature doesn't organize itself hierarchically. Nature doesn't organize itself hierarchically. Instead of a ladder of intelligence with humans at the top, nature reveals a web of intelligences, each adapted to its ecological niche. A tree's intelligence isn't less than ours, it's just different. An octopus thinks with its arms, a forest thinks through roots, an elephant thinks through its feet. Each form of cognition is exquisitively tuned to its environment. Ethics. Why does it matter to us? Why do we need to know? This is because of environmental ethics and conversation. If forest thinks and communicate, how do we justify deforestation? Why do we fell trees? Agriculture and organics. Inherent intelligence is agricultural systems. How soil microbiomes, plant genetics, and ecosystem processes encode intelligence. This is for the farmers to think. Instead of corrupting the soil with artificial chemicals. There are natural chemicals, natural growth, you have fertilizers, but chemical fertilizers do more harm to the ecology of the soil, and which results in diminishing returns. If anyone knows about economics, diminishing return means the more you use, the less benefit you get. So the more fertilizers you use, the less benefit you get from the farm. Then it is beneficial for medicine and health. Understanding embodied cognition opens new therapeutic approaches. Then we have human humility. We are not the pinnacle of intelligence. We are one expression out of so many. Inventiveness and agility bio-inspired algorithms based on swarm intelligence and cellular computation. Now this small microscopic, which I showed you before, we're going to come back to it later, it's called tardigrades. It's a magical organism. And it has implications for the welfare, for the benefit of humanity. When we said before, why does it matter? This also comes in the picture. How they can be useful to us. We aren't likely to become radiation-proof humans anytime soon. But tardigrade biology offers immediate solution in medicine and technology. Cold chain medicine. Currently, many vaccines and life-saving medicines like insulin must be kept refrigerated or they spoil. By using same sugar glass proteins of tardigrades used, scientists are working on dry storage technology. This would allow vaccines to be shipped to remote hot areas without needing expensive refrigeration. Second benefit is stabilizing blood products. Research is underway to see if tardigrade proteins can help stabilize human blood or platelets in a dried state. This could revolutionize emergency medicine on battlefields or in disaster zones where liquid blood storage is impossible. Third benefit, stress-tolerant agriculture. As climate change leads to more frequent droughts, geneticists are looking at tardigrade genes to see if they can be expressed in plants to create drought-resistant crops that can survive drying out and then bounce back when it finally rains. And then we have benefit for space exploration, which I'm not going to go into because it is not relevant. Termite, kingfisher. Kingfisher has been exemplary bird which has inspired Japanese to design a train which is so aerodynamic that they could not have even dreamed of it. So by looking at kingfisher, they have designed this fastest train by being inspired by it. So kingfisher is another reason why it matters to us, learning intelligence from plants, trees, animals, space, sea. It's all to our benefit. But it doesn't work, it's not a one-way route, it's a two-way partnership. Then you have lotus, self-clearing without any chemicals. Then you have mycelium, feeds entire forest silently, selflessly. These are not anomalies, they are the norm. This is what we don't do. We are borrowers of about 85 elements from the universe. We borrow oxygen, we borrow carbon, we borrow nitrogen, we borrow what else? There are many things we borrow: potassium, phosphorus, calcium, zinc. So our 96% of elemental composition are from the space, from the bursting stars. It's called supernova. When a star bursts, we are the dust of the star burst. Our body is made of the dust of the star which is bursting, known as supernova. Now, I am climbing on the shoulders of these writers which I've got there. They are where I got my information from. It's my benefit to climb on the shoulders so I can see further, which is why I'm here, to share the discovery which I have made. There's some, as you see, incomplete because of my speech was for tomorrow, so I was going to work on this tonight, but because of this problem we had, I had to say yes now, but as you see, some of them slides are not completed. Okay, going back to mind, we learn everything. We know what is right. We know fully well that we understand, yet we don't understand, because we are talking at the mind level. We have two problems that faces humankind, and those two problems relates to knowledge. First problem is ignorance, lack of knowledge. It's a dual-pronged problem. Dual-pronged problem. First is lack of knowledge. Secondly is too much knowledge. In the first one, you do things ignorantly, don't know what to do, which road to go to, which option to take, which to decide, how can you access, how can you evaluate, how can you assess, how can you respond, how to make the right decision, because of lack of knowledge. So ignorance, that's one type. Second type is even more serious, which is even the same, a crime. Why? Because you know fully well that you have that intelligence that tells you fully well that I mustn't smoke, I mustn't do bad things. It's bad for me, it's harmful to me, yet you do it. And that, according to Ayurveda, is Pratyabhijñā. Pratyabhijñā means crime against the intellect. So the crime against intellect is to be watched out for. It's okay? The crime against the intellect is to watch out for. It is the worst kind of crime, and even during Charakya, it did originate from Ayurvedic literature, primarily the Charaka Samhita, the 1st and 2nd century. Okay, so now we're coming to the end of our presentation. People's ignorance is government's extravaganza. Yes, it is. The more the public stays in the dark, the more free ride the government will have. They will exploit us, and so at our detriment we won't even know, because we're not using our intelligence. And don't get confused between intellect and intelligence. Intellect is the domain of the mind. Intelligence is the domain of the soul. So these two, unless and until the mind gets spiritualized, gets trained, you will not cross that bridge to go to intelligence. It's very important. And uninformed, a Greek philosopher, Socrates, said an uninformed mind is a public license handed freely to those who govern. He said, an unexamined mind is not worth living. And we are here, and he died for us. And here, whenever you ask a question, everyone goes berserk, they go mad. You ask the government a question. Next time you can't ask any question there in India. But in England it's different. You can talk there, you can speak your mouth, your mind. But the problem in India is coming to this closed society. And this is what is very dangerous. The population to be kept in the dark, to be kept ignorant. I don't have any salary paid to me by the government, and I don't have any fear or favor. So I can speak as I think is fit. For that reason, I think there's a huge mammoth task for educators in India to be trained, to be elevated to that knowledge of intelligence. I have a following speaker behind me, after me, which is Dr. C.K. Bhagwat. I only relate to the matter of this Maya Gatinya, and he lives beyond. So I'm not going to touch his subject. He will come to his exploration sometime during this symposium. So this rests me to say, okay, let me add one more sentence. Here, we must be honest with ourselves. And honesty, as you know, is the hardest form of courage. Nature's genius is not the problem. We are. Unless the mind is constantly, consciously, and deeply trained, deliberately, with genuine humility, we will only be fooling ourselves. We will go round and round in full circle. We will keep stumbling over two ancient pitfalls, ignorance and pratyabhijñā. This is a mental ignorance acting without understanding, moving through the world of assumption, habit, and inherited thoughts. We have become coolies. We are lugging other people's baggage in the form of ideologies, concepts, fairy tales, ghost stories, myths, opinions, views, thoughts, misinformation and disinformation, which overwhelm us and we don't even ask the question. The second pitfall is far more dangerous because it is not ignorance at all. It is knowingly, wittingly, and unwittingly choosing wrong things. The ancient Ayurveda tradition calls for pratyabhijñā, which all school children must be taught. So we are not getting away from intelligence, which is our main topic, but to learn about intelligence, to recognize intelligence, we have to have a clear mind, a trained mind, and this little drama that was done incredibly impactfully was it actually addresses the question in practice as to why we have to watch our mind, not let it take us for a ride, otherwise we'll keep going in the loop. What we were yesterday will be again the same. If you created a problem with the same mind cannot provide you with a remedy. And finally, I will leave you with a little thought. In the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. But what we are taught cannot be understood because our mind is not set fully. So thank you for listening. And
I think he needs a standing ovation.
yeah, no, it's okay. Sorry, I forgot to invite questions. Sorry, carry on. It's coming to you. The mic is coming to you.
I have to ask a question. Sir, how can you explain intelligence in few words?
Intelligence is your ability to deal with problem solving for survival, security, and safety. It goes back to Darwinism theory. It is not skills to solve problems, it is the wisdom to how to use knowledge.
Sir, I have another question.
Yeah, carry on.
Sir, you have talked of cosmic intelligence. What is cosmic intelligence? Please explain.
Yeah, cosmic intelligence to many people, maybe many people are very allergic to it in the world today, because we have around 6 billion adults out of 8 billion, 8.5 billion in total, who each of us create ideologies, views, thoughts, prejudices, fears, myths. All these things are created by those adults, right? Now, for us to be able to talk in one language, we've got to have a commonality, a common denominator which cuts across everybody, regardless of caste, creed, color, religion, whatever. Yeah? So when it comes to that, we need to be able to focus on dealing only with our soul intelligence. The soul has got many attributes. It starts from love, cooperation, forgiving, caring, tolerant. There are many. I've counted about 52 to around 60, which we've got in our curriculum, which we are trying to integrate in schools in India. And Dr. Bhagwati and I are working in tandem to make that a school curriculum. There's a soul relates, the intelligence relates to the soul, to your atma, to your genius inside, and your intellect is only up to the brain, the mind, the cognitive information, which it gets from your 5 senses. Seeing, hearing, touching, kinesthetic, that's all. And that produces about 10 million bits of information per second. And your mind can only process between 10 to 40 bits, depending on the state of mind you have. So 10 to 40 bits of information per second you've got to process to be able to understand what you're reading or writing. And now, this multimodal approach is the key. You can't just read and understand or listen to understand. You have to be able to have 5 different mediums to be able to understand what you're trying to understand. Listening, seeing, doing, repeating. You've got to create that neuroplasticity in your subconscious mind to be able to understand. If you want to learn, if you know music, if you're playing music, you want to change the instrument, go to the next instrument, you can repeat that sargam or whatever, and you will pick up that pattern. Your brain will build nerve circuits to get you to do that, and you learn very easily. But the key here is repetition, regular, sustained repetition. Same thing applies to habit forming. The smoking, the drinking, whatever. Gurkhas is prevalent in India. Instead of having that, have lychee in your mouth. Just educate your mind, this is what I'm going to have. No matter what, I'm going to have this. Stick to it, your willpower, determination, it will change your habit. So every time you've got a problem, you're faced with some crisis, anything, at work, in studies, pause for a minute. Because the power of divine is in the silence. Pause for a minute, he will veto. He or she will veto that decision of yours. Right? Once it's vetoed, you follow. If that veto comes to say, no, you're not doing that, you just stay there, stay put. Don't make any move. Maybe next time we can try again. Because the card system in the universal chronology has got different times for each person. And God has never meant to be harmful to anybody. Just pick the right time, send your vibes, your information, your questions to the universe, you'll get an answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have another question. Sir, you have said that we can recognize problems by observation. How can we become a perfect observation in this era where we are distracted by different sort of things?
Okay, it's very, very easy. Just ignore everyone. Just ignore everyone. Just carry. You don't need certification from everybody, even from me. You just carry on what you believe in. Everyone is unique. No one has got to give you what you don't have. Okay?
Okay.
You can contact me later. I'll give you our number. Well, we can take that information further. If you help us, if you're searching for knowledge, we are here to help.
Okay.
May I make a comment?
Yeah, please.
May I make?
I'm sorry, Dr. Henke. I will request all the audience that after the talk, we will take the chair's comment. Then we will, make this session open for discussion. So I request Dr. Henke for chair's comment, please.
I would really like to congratulate both speakers. I didn't really get a chance to congratulate Dr. Kashmir Shaivism, who I would like to call an ocean of good cheer. Wonderful presentations, and I could really emphasize that in Ayurveda there is subtle cognition, or subtle cognition in the origins of Ayurveda, in the stories of Maharishi Bharadwaj and Maharishi Atri, that there is subtle cognition of plants' qualities in the tradition of Dhanvantari, and subtle cognition by Maharishi Jivaka, who was the Lord Buddha's physician for some time by repute, and later the patron saint of medicine in Thailand. And when we look at this wonderful presentation that we've just had, I really cannot congratulate Dr. Shiv Sachit enough. My own guru, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, talked about cosmic creative intelligence. The cosmic creative intelligence is everywhere, that we find it in the human heart, as he put it very eloquently, through the ramblings of the vagus nerve and its feedback and its everything that it brings to the brain. He covered this absolutely fantastic list of the ways that creative intelligence is found, whether it's in the Wood Wide Web or the communications of octopus and octopus's limbs and so on. I found it unbelievably beautiful, and I really deeply thank you. I'm not thanking Dr. Kashmir Shaivism any less, but I really congratulate Dr. Sanchit, because it was such an incredible presentation. And if you look at his final statements about the mistake of the intellect, in fact, there's a way of interpreting it where if you want to perfect the Vijnanamaya kosha among the Pancha koshas mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishad, then the perfection of the Vijnanamaya kosha is the key to eliminating disease, because any mistake of the intellect actually reduces the perfection of the Vijnanamaya kosha. And then you get problems progressively in the Manamaya kosha, the emotional body, the Pranamaya kosha, the subtle energy body, and finally in the Annamaya kosha, which is what the gross body that modern medicine treats or thinks is the only thing worth looking at for disease. So I really want to congratulate both of all the speakers. It's been a truly marvelous evening, and I want to once again thank Professor Raj Kumar and his colleagues for putting together such a wonderful first session. Truly wonderful. It's dinner time for everyone. I won't hold you any longer. I want to give you a 1,000 thank yous. And I won't try and translate that into Sanskrit, but 1,000 thank yous for giving us such a wonderful session. Dhanyavad. Shubharatri.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Alex, thank you. Thank you for being so generous about my speech. It's always very inspiring to have such feedback from gurus like yourself. I'm not that proficient in the scriptures, as I keep quoting and dropping it generously. I wish I had learned Sanskrit, but I missed it in my childhood. Never had a teacher to teach me that wonderful language. So, for that matter, I am very, very grateful for your input, for your feedback. I will build on that, and maybe we can meet in person the week this time, and maybe next time. Whatever happens, happens for the better. And with that thought, I would say thank you and goodbye.
Okay, sir, we have few questions from our Zoom invitees and also from here. So we will take it one by one. So Dr. Wang want to ask something. Please unmute yourself. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, great. Yeah, first of all, I really enjoyed the speech so much. Thank you so much. And then I actually have two questions. And then the first one, I feel really impressive to really look into, our intellections and also the ecosystem altogether. So human beings is the bigger, one small part of the bigger system. So my first question is about intelligence beyond the human brain. Like we really like to talk, really emphasize on recognizing the intelligence in cells, in forests, and ecosystem. I think it's challenged our usual definition of thinking, and then like how this should change the way we teach and learn, especially for younger generations. So I'm just wondering, like, whether there should be some new emphasis. We treat the cells as separately lower than us. We learn their, different type of like the knowledge on it, but really not thinking integrated into the bigger picture.
Yes, I'm sorry I missed your name, but what you have picked on is quite relevant. We, looking at the whole complete spectrum of intelligence across board in all other realms except humans, is very, very humbling, an humbling effect, because we have always thought that because we have a brain, we are intelligent, we are smart. But when I did my research,
Sir, if you feel okay, then come here and then respond.
okay. I'm okay. So somewhere, but sorry about we have given this a silence. I think there have been some technical errors here, but let me start again. It's very interesting that you picked up on the point that matters, and that point is how we as humans have underrated and mistreated as a source of intelligence in trees, animals, birds, flies, in sea mammals, sea organism, marine and a deep space. It's very interesting, and it's also very humbling. We have to be prompted, or we have to go to a redefinition, which is why the title of this keynote speech is Redefining Intelligence in Nature. For that matter, we've got to go back to the drawing board to reassess ourselves, because we are lost humanity, we are lost soul. First of all, we don't know who we are, whether we are a bunch of cells, neurons, we are stardust, or whether we are spiritually described as light and sound. So you take your pick. But for me, as it is, I draw some knowledge on Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and one Dr. C.K. Bhardwaj, who is amongst audience today, but he will be talking, and if you are with us throughout the symposium, maybe you will also have the benefit of his dimension, which he talks about the spiritual intelligence. But as for me, my scope is to deal with the intelligence like I have outlined. Maybe you have missed lots of corresponding pictures and images when I was talking about it. It was quite disabled due to some technical problem, but maybe next time we'll be more disposed to using a MacBook. Here, the ecology, the ecosystem is Windows, not MacBook. So it is not entirely my fault that we could not be too conversational. So that's what it is, and I think human beings should stop being chauvinistic. Chauvinism is a problem. We're too ignorant, and everyone is for himself, too selfish, not enough time. We don't spend much time to look at and learn from nature. A very simple example of Japan building this super fast train being inspired by Kingfisher, the aerodynamics. You see? So that sort of thing should be brought into practicality. Tons and tons, about 50, 70,000 dissertations sitting in the archives of universities, and no one is using it. It's just there for show. It's just there to tell public, oh, I'm a PhD holder now. But what happened to your dissertation? Is it being used? You spent 3 years researching on a topic very closely, analytically, and yet no one is using it. It's a waste of total energy, labor, and money. So we have to start a new culture of epistemic knowledge. We know what it is, but there's a paradigm shift from what it is to how do you know what it is. So we've got to be epistemic about things. And this is what drives me to talk about it, to make sure it goes as an integral part of curriculum to schools and colleges. I hope I have answered your question.
Oh yeah, totally. You're not only answering my first question, actually you answered the second, third already. So I was planning to asking regarding the AI and new era, like AI, how we can, right.
That's also a touch a raw nerve with me, because I'm very critical about it. Whether it's AI, whether it's bots or xenobots or whatever it is all to do with mankind. We created it, and if we don't have the spiritual, moral, and ethical underpinning, we are not going to reproduce those AI tools properly as they behave like us, because AI tools is based on us, it's dependent on us, so we have to teach them properly, bearing in mind that they should be underpinned by moral laws and ethical laws.
Yeah, totally. Like how we can distinguish intelligence from wisdom, right? Like AI can participate in wisdom without connecting to a living system. It's in the computer, it's like over there without a physical presence. And then how can we control its connection with the physical world? Because I'm really worried about when AI get connected with a physical machine and then it's out of control.
Let me put your worries to rest. I tell you why. Let me give you an example. The parents are spending in India, I think about 30-40 lakh to educate the child, give them a training, education to become MBBS medicine doctor, GP, or a civil engineer for that matter. When that person becomes a practicing doctor, what stops him from becoming a human parts dealer if he doesn't have that underpinning of ethics or spirituality? Nothing at all. What stops the civil engineer selling cements behind the government's back? Nothing is stopping them. But you got to have that. If his thinking and his practice is underpinned by moral laws, spiritual laws, deontology, epistemologies, will not happen. But the first thing first is our mind is rotten, contaminated. It needs detoxifying. That's what I start from. And we've got to make a move in that direction. Only then we can become epistemological creature.
Right, yeah, totally. Because my third question is about how to keep our humanity. Like in a world, machine can think, calculate, and decide faster than human being. Like what's the uniquely human capabilities become most important? We need to protect like human intellectual wisdom, and then like how to teach future generations to value relationships, to be caring person, and then to be reverence in a technologically centered world.
I have just one solution for that. Start meditation. You'll get the answer. That's the end all and be all. Honestly.
Right, yeah, I like the word intoxication. Yeah, you don't want those noise or all this kind of distraction to shake your core, right?
You want to build your spiritual castle on chitta vritta nirodha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, have the peace of mind. Yeah.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
All right.
So we have another question by Dr. John Boston.
It's not really a question. I don't really need an answer. I think it's something we should think about throughout the whole conference is horizontal gene transfer, genetic exchange, how organisms can live in a symbiotic environment together, maybe sharing genetic information or exchanging it. RNA, DNA. We know, with COVID there was a big leap in the genetic makeup of the coronavirus to actually infect humans. And was that done in the environment, or was it done in the lab where these viruses all mixed together with cells and culture and animals and evolved into a great viral plague that struck the world? So I just really don't need a big answer. I just want everybody to kind of think about it, because I'll be touching on that in my talk later in the conference. So just, I don't need too much comments, and I don't want to hold everybody from dinner.
I appreciate your concern. It is a wide concern, worldwide, everywhere, and I think the best thing to do with that is not to play God. Stop the scientists playing God. That's gone too far, and there have been a problem in itself. Science is a problem. Science is not a solution for many parts of the problem that we suffer. Everything that they do has got some vested interest of being greedy, of making a name, and they want to act as if they're a blessing to the Mother Earth, which they are not. So I'm very outspoken about what it is. I mean, I've seen the way the spiritual masters work and they produce solution, but in science they hide behind the dictum, obiter dictum, the idiom of the lack of scientific evidence is not evidence of absence.
Dr. Kumar, want to ask, please.
My question is about Savior and I'm trying to highlight some caveats when we are talking about the cognitive balance. So, those things are not there. Still, the cells are the same, but all the ingredients of the cell are the same. But still, they don't work like that. Their memory is also going down, and similarly, your mind, or which is normally referred as a brain, they also go down. So, if you will comment on this, whether that's cognitive duality is still there when we grow old, or it's just we are thinking about that the cells have memory because of the whole mind-body connection.
Dr. Rajkumar, I always felt I will have a question from you. I'm glad to hear this. Your concern is valid. It's the passage of time and the post-truth age, post-truth digital age we are living in a inundation, digital abundance era, digital addiction, digital affluence, the flowing amount of data from in 24 hours is so enormous that we can't cope with it, and it's too less time, too much information, not enough time. And what do we need to remember? There are 4 parameters of cognitive bias. We are full of cognitive bias, and this cognitive bias is not letting us live our life. We have always been interfered with, and we go along, we don't ask questions. Look at the eagle. When the eagle grows old, it starts shedding its feather. But at the same time, it grows new feather. Look, now you talk about the mind. Your mind is not here. It's not local. It's not physical. It's not in your body. It's like what is digitalization to digitization? What is wealth to money? The same relationship we have with the mind and brain, if you know what I mean. What is digitalization to digitization, and what is wealth to money is in the same manner. Mind to brain is the same sort of relationship in ratio. So if you stick to, if you learn, unlearn, and relearn, if you adopt that principle, you will update your data. You will know from the fact that there are more than one mind. This is a domain of Dr. Bhardwaj, who will come later, and you will hear there are 4 minds: physical, astral, causal, and universal. And you can, if you are well tuned like a radar or an interface, you can download this data from there. You don't need to depend on your brain. The brain is not a generator; it's it's an antenna. It's an interface. So I don't think much to worry about. That is not a concern. It's not happening. You feel it's happening, but it's not happening. And genes, what you talk about, I think, like the answer I gave earlier on, genes have been interfered with. Epigenetic is what you want: to be good, to be calm, to be musical, to be spiritual, to be the good satsang amongst good people who are producing a coherence of positiveness, of happiness. Happiness, I won't say too much happiness, because happiness is a dependence on objects externally, but I would say bliss. I would say anand, not khushi, anand. And there's a better word for bliss in Greek philosophy. It's called eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is equal to bliss in English, and anand in Sanskrit. So if you aim for that holy grail, that is a summum bonum of what everyone is seeking in the world today.
Dr. Henke, you want to comment on this, because this question was with chair and speaker both.
I can only repeat what I said before, that we've been immensely privileged to hear such wonderfully wide, really comprehensive talks about cognition, about intelligence, and what the real ways are that we can now see cosmic creative intelligence acting in such diverse ways in every part of the universe. There is a wonderful saying which is embodied in reflexology and in much of Oriental and ancient Indian work. The whole is contained in the individual parts. Reflexological maps are particularly beautiful ways that Chinese tradition has shown this. And here we have what the last speaker so eloquently showed, is how cosmic creative intelligence isn't just available in the human heart in the form of aham brahmasmi and pragya aparada. You find this, or pragyanam brahma, I should probably say. You find this cosmic intelligence everywhere, and it's truly humbling, as I think Dr. Shiv stated. It's truly humbling to see the way that cosmic intelligence is at work in all these wonderful, diverse ways on every level of nature as we see it, from the atom all the way to the universe. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dr. Henke. As we are running late today, this session, but we have final question with Professor Singh. Yeah, we have 5 minutes, then we will conclude this. So,
I have 5 minutes to ask questions.
4-minute question, then 1 minute felicitation, sir, please.
Well, I lovely discussion, but I totally disagree. Because, you know, the ultimate goal of life is moksha, not this body. But Darwinian theory is only for survival of the fittest. So, when the young lady had asked the question about cosmic intelligence, in the cosmic intelligence, death is embraced. And so we all can be free, and we all can be one.
Okay.
Isn't that what is the ultimate goal of spirituality as well?
Okay. If you allow me to answer this question, you said you are seeking moksha. And you think that's Samam Bonam or the Holy Grail, right? Who's asking for that moksha? You? And who are you?
I'm you.
You're me. Fine. That's good. That's Advaita principle. Fine. But who is true self, yourself?
My true self is Aham Brahmasmi, like you said.
Correct. How can Aham Brahmasmi ask for a moksha?
No, I'm just only talking in this life. Otherwise, the Aham Brahmasmi, then you don't need anything.
First, I need to identify myself, whether I'm a body or a soul. If I'm a soul, I'm already with a super consciousness. I don't need moksha.
Yeah.
Moksha is a mental domain. It's my mind asking for it. My mind is asking for a Ferrari. It's asking for moksha. It's asking for holidays abroad. It's my mind doing it. I am not interested in the mind.
I was just talking to the kid, you know, the baby, you.
Yeah.
Who is talking about all this? So
yes.
I didn't.
For that, yes, for that you have you have a very prominent. Yeah, you have a very prominent seer whose benefit I've been initiated by him, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He said you have to live 200% to be successful in your spiritual progress. You have to live 100% for this land, for this illusion world, Maya ki dunya mein, and you have to live, then you will very conveniently progress to another world. So live 200%. So he said, problem is solved. If you're not happy here, you won't be happy there. If you're happy here, you'll be unhappy there. And if you're unhappy here, you'll be happy nowhere. This has got 4 combination. Happy here, happy there. Unhappy here, unhappy there. Happy here, unhappy there. And unhappy here, happy there. I hope you follow me.
I guess you're 5 minutes over.
I hope you follow me. I hope you follow me. Well, I would like to thank you from my heart It's been a very good interaction. I value this, and my thanks also goes to Dr. Bhardwaj, who sort of prompted me to come and share my thoughts. And the initial invitation came from Dr. Rajkumar, to whom I'm very, very grateful and indebted to. And people here I met has won my heart, and with so much cordiality, humbleness, and love, and hospitality, including you. And I don't know your title, but yeah, thank you generously. Take care. Thank you.
So, thank you, and thank you, sir. But we'll take 50 seconds. We'll take 50 seconds. I would like to invite Professor Balram Singh, sir, the President of Institute of Advanced Sciences, to felicitate our speaker, Dr. Shiv Sachit ji. So, Dr. Pooja will assist. Yeah, please. Sir, please come on stage. Yeah, please, please come. So.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you very much, sir. And now we will move for dinner, and tomorrow we will start on given time. Thank you very much. इसको बंद कर